I deal with elderly a lot. So the last years of life, I don't know if me quitting drinking is worth me having 2 more years in my life.
You're like, I don't want me to take care of myself.
Yeah, hell no.
Welcome back to Arsenic Culture, where beer don't count, but bad decisions do. I'm Matt.
I'm Jason.
And we're coming back to you with a lovely episode. What are we, 103?
103.
Episode 103,
yes,
baby.
Sir.
We're in the 3 digits now. And we're broadcasting from the Bourbon House again in Lexington, Kentucky. This place is, we changed the angles here if you're watching instead of listening.
Had to get my good side. That's what it
Get your
was.
good side. I love this. People listening can't see, but you're watching on YouTube. I love this fucking sign behind me. It's got like 15 records around, arranged around in a square, and in the middle of the neon light it says it's like this and like, what does it say?
It's like this and like that and like this.
I love it. This place is awesome. We're sitting at the bar right now. We got Goldeneye behind the cameras getting ready to go off, and Jason's gonna lose and he's gonna cry again like he does every single time. But this place is awesome. You guys can rent it. It's an Airbnb in central Lexington. The website's partyhouse.com, Partyhous. And they got 3 different units. You gotta definitely check it out.
Be a great spot if you're coming to UK basketball game, very close to Rupp.
It's like walking just, and there's like, somebody had a party here last night because there's, there's shit on the floor and stuff. I think we got in right after somebody left, so. But yeah, today we have something a little bit, we do a lot of reviews of stuff.
We do.
And lately we've been kind of finding more topics that are more like general, but spark more discussion. And I thought it'd be fun to kind of go over drinking trends in America, because they have changed over the year.
A lot.
And for really strange reasons too. But we're gonna kind of culminate it, and we're gonna open actually, we had a side project bottle that we teased like 4 episodes ago. This is it the 10?
10. This is 10.
And we showed it off in 1 episode. We said we had 1 more coming. So yeah, this thing is excited about this one. Every single one we open has been phenomenal. I'm sure this one's gonna suck.
Probably.
Because that's usually goes. No, I'm sure it's gonna be great. But Side Project, during the craft beer boom, really, the whole thing kind of culminated with Side Project, in my opinion, in the United States anyway. And they're one of the best breweries in America, still are. Beer's really taking a dive. So I thought it'd be really interesting to kind of go into the history of booze trends in America. Yeah, so to start it out, I got a question for you, Jason.
Okay, I got the answer.
What was the first drink of alcohol you ever had?
That was a Red Dog beer.
Was it really?
100%.
I remember Red Dog.
Red Dog.
How old were you?
I was 21. Of
But
course.
how old were you really?
21, but I'd say about 13.
Dude, you know the first drink of beer I ever had?
No,
or first drink of alcohol I ever had? I think I was 5.
You got me beat.
I do got you beat a little bit. And I remember my mom and dad had a party at their house. And they invited like a shitload of people.
I remember you saying something about this one time.
Times were a lot more lax back in the 80s. And all my mom's friends were drunk, and they were like, you know what'd be hilarious? Is if we put a beer and a cigarette in Matthew's hand. And I remember this. I remember them putting a lit Marlboro Light. I don't remember if it was a Marlboro Light, but that's what my mom smoked.
Yeah.
And I think it was like a Miller Lite or a Milwaukee's Best or something.
Yeah, probably Miller Lite.
And they're like taking pictures of, oh, look at the cute little baby, like holding a beer and cigarette. And I was just like, I don't know what this shit tastes like. And I put them on my lips, they were like, no. And they grabbed it. But I remember I got a little bit, and then I just kind of did the whole like bitter beer face thing.
It's like that meme you'll see, that little kid that's got like the trucker hat on with the cigarette with beer.
Yeah,
that was
actually
you.
me.
That was you.
That was actually, this is me growing up
I know it looked familiar.
I grew out a beard and everything. So
yeah, that's an interesting fact. You know, maybe before the beer, I might have had Southern Comfort. My dad used to make that like a cake with that, the icing and the cake too.
And then you got to try it.
I got a little try of that, so maybe, but I don't know.
The first
I was 4.5. I was younger than you.
So you win, okay. The first like actual like alcohol I drank to where I was drinking it to drink was actually Everclear.
Oh God.
In I want to say
that burns just hearing it.
God, I don't know. I want to say 8th grade.
Okay.
And my neighbor, my buddy, had like a bottle that he smuggled somehow, and he hid it in his basement. And he's like, "Dude, you want to try some Everclear?" And I was like, "Sure, what's that? I don't know." And he's like, "Take a drink of this, and then take a drink of this." And he pulled out you remember orange juice concentrate?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Donald Duck or whatever.
Yeah,
Minute
yeah.
Maid,
In like the little cardboard kind of can, you unwrap it or whatever. He's like, take a drink of this Everclear, then take a drink of the orange juice concentrate, and you can't taste it at all. Well, obviously because it's orange juice concentrate. So me and him were taking little sips and drinking it, and then his mom walks in the fucking door. She's like, "What are y'all doing?" And he grabs it and throws it in his closet, and there's like Everclear pouring out all over the carpet. He's like, "Another mom," and she went over and she took the Everclear for him, and I was like, "Please don't tell my mom." She's like, "I'm not gonna tell your mom. Just don't do it again."
Yeah, she don't want to tell your mom get mad at her.
I know. Yeah, we got away with some shit back then. So, but to start it out, America is a very drunk country.
It is.
I don't know if you knew that.
I did. I always felt like though overseas was a little more alcohol consumption. Like Germany. I don't know. I just feel like that.
Actually,
maybe.
Yeah. No. Now that you say that,
I feel like they can hold their liquor a little better.
That sounds about right. I think it depends on when in history you're looking at, because there was a period that I'm going to get at
pre-prohibition.
Pre-prohibition. There's a period I'm going to get to in a minute that kind of is mind-blowing to me.
Okay.
But since like the 1600s through the 1700s, the choice of drink for Americans was actually cider. Yeah, let's go ahead and open this beer. And then
go ahead, keep talking. I'll do this.
Jason's going to get this 10th anniversary stout from Side Project going on.
Keep talking.
But yeah, cider and rum were the big ones back in the 1600s to 1700s, mainly because apples grew rampant in, I guess that's colonial America, right?
Yeah, I would say so.
In the colonial times, apples just grew rampant. They were very easy to grow, and grain and wheat actually had a lot of difficulty. I guess just because of the areas that they were, the soil wasn't great. So you got a shitload of apples. You don't want to let them rot. What do? You got to turn them into alcohol. In 1767, the average family consumed about 7 barrels per year of cider. Wow. I say hard cider. It's hard cider.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For a minute.
Which is, I guess, quite a bit.
7 barrels. So I wonder what a barrel was. It 55 gallons back then?
It's gotta be, right?
That's a lot.
That's a fucking whole lot.
Yeah.
Well, wait till you hear about this statistic I'm going to come up with next. But the transatlantic trade brought molasses over, so the molasses kind of led to rum distillation. So they were introduced to rum. So cider and rum were kind of the big things back then. Into the 19th century, between the 1800s and 1830s, that's when whiskey started to take off. It's called that era the alcoholic republic.
What was the years? I'm sorry, I missed
1800s through the 1830s.
Okay.
Corn started to become really plentiful, especially in Tennessee and Kentucky. We had super fertile soil. And same kind of thing. You got a shitload of corn. You don't want it to go bad. What do? Turn it into whiskey.
Yeah.
So people started drinking whiskey like crazy.
Obvious choice.
Yeah. The Whiskey Rebellion of 1791 was when a bunch of farmers revolted against the government actually placing high taxes on whiskeys because it started to become so popular. It's just like, Uncle Sam's got to get his cut. But it was actually putting a lot of them out of business where they're having to pay so much. In the 1820s, listen to this, 7 gallons per person of alcohol was consumed annually, which is almost double what it is right now. Damn. 7 gallons, and I'm talking whiskey. Like
you're not talking beer, right?
No, like whiskey. Like
so you're at least back then, you're at least 80 proof. Hell, it's probably more than that.
It's probably, I would say like pushing 100, right?
Probably makes you go blind every 6 gallons.
Exactly. They're not proofing it down for, to homogenize their product and doing a Solera barrel. They're just fucking making it and drinking it. You know what I mean? Could you imagine getting 7-gallon milk jugs and being like, okay, I know it's a year, it's still a lot, but like.
Yeah, it makes you wonder though, if you think about like how much alcohol do you think we would consume individually, like bourbon throughout the year? I know we drink a lot on this show, but I'm not drinking gallons of bourbon every night.
No, hell no. Like, seriously, like I do a pour.
Yeah.
Maybe like. I know, again, we do drink a lot.
We do drink a lot. It's a show.
But like, throughout the week, I'll do a pour like once or twice. Weekends, I'll have 2 or 3, 4.
I mean, honestly, it takes me a while to go through a fifth of 100 proof bourbon.
I agree.
Like, I'm not going through that in a week.
Yeah.
It's taking me a while.
I agree. People in the United States got so drunk that it led to the temperance movement in the late 19th century, mid to late 19th century. The temperance movement was when there was a big backlash against alcohol and drinking because people were drunk all the time.
It's too fucked up.
Seriously, like they would go to work and they'd be fucked up at work, and then they'd come home from work and they beat their wives.
God.
Like, I'm not even kidding. So the temperance movement was, in large, started by women tired of getting beat by their drunk husbands, coming home drunk from work. And then during that movement, it led to, they kind of tapered down from drinking hard liquor, and that's where they transitioned into beer. German ignorance.
Immigrants.
Yeah, they came in and they brought lager over, and then that's when the lager beer was introduced, and that's what we were talking about. Germans probably drank a lot of beer back then.
The reason
too.
I feel like they drink more than we do is because, well, maybe it's just alcohol, ABV, because when I first got into craft beer, like if you bring somebody who's used to drinking Bud Light into drinking IPAs, even though it's 4.5% to let's say 7, that's a huge difference.
It really
is. It doesn't sound like much, it's a huge difference.
Yeah, and it'll sneak the fuck up on you.
And if you're used to drinking 12 Bud Lights on a Saturday night, try drinking 12 IPAs.
Oh,
you ain't gonna make it. You're gonna be puking.
Yeah, you drink 3 and you're already kind of like,
yeah. And again, not much of a difference, but it really is. Germany, they're drinking those higher lagers or whatever they're drinking over there. Oktoberfest.
Yeah. That kind of led into the Prohibition era. Prohibition kicked in 1920 with the 18th Amendment. That's when moonshine took over. Everything went underground at that point. A lot of people know that. But moonshine and organized crime. They go hand in hand.
Boardwalk Empire. If you've never seen that one on HBO.
That's actually on my to-watch list, and I haven't watched it yet. But yeah, that's when like Al Capone came around, and he got really rich and famous, honestly, really.
Oh, for sure. Very powerful.
Yeah, cocktails actually started to become popular too because a lot of the moonshine was so shitty, they had to mask the taste of it, so they started inventing cocktails. After Prohibition, I think is a good time to actually try the beer that we have.
Yeah, let's get it. I've already been tasting it like 8 times.
I've been talking, so I get to try it.
So I'll tell you a little bit about the beer, and then we'll get back to like the timeline here. So this is Side Project 10-year barley wine. We showed a picture. We'll show it again.
Yeah.
So this is a 17% barrel-aged barley wine. Pretty strong. This is a focus on showcasing M.J.K, which is one of their probably best barley wine, maybe in the world.
Yeah. I just took a sip and I felt it hit my stomach. That's
it's got a Kentucky hug from bourbon all the way down.
With a beer. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
So this is single and double barrel-aged M.J.K, finished for 18 to 27 months in the Willett family estate bourbon barrels, with a thoughtful splash of Längst. Do you remember what Längst is, their beer?
I thought that was a barley wine.
So it's an Adam beer. So it's like old ale.
Yeah.
Some Adam beer can be a slight little sour to it or whatever. But for this one here, I mean, I'm getting tons of dark fruit, like prunes. Like it's crazy. And that tobacco, leather. I mean, it's everything you'd want in a barley wine for me.
Yeah, this is one thing that they do really well is blend the line between barley wine and stout, and this is another prime example of that. 100%. I get that same dark fruit, but I get a lot of like chocolate notes on there. Stuff you don't normally get in a barley wine, but you would find a really decadent stout. This is fucking amazing. Again, I'm glad you brought all of these. Is that the third one we've opened?
Man, there's like 5.
I
think the only one we didn't open is maybe the 10th anniversary stout. We opened the barley wine.
Keep it in the middle here so people can just leave it next to you.
So I'll just stand there and hold something.
Just drink straight out of the bottle.
So from the timeline here, I mean, this beer is fantastic. This is the reason we brought this one is to show you kind of what modern day is. What's the apex, I guess, of craft beer movement.
I agree.
So
did you do Prohibition, or you want me to do that?
I got the 80s where I start, buddy.
All right, I'll pick back up here, and then
we got cocaine and Miami Vice on my timeline.
In 1933, the 21st Amendment kicked in and did away with Prohibition. People could finally drink again. Beer ends up making a comeback again. And also vodka. Clear spirits started becoming popular because of the war. They actually, soldiers discovered vodka overseas and they brought it back. And then there were some Russian immigrants too because we were allies with them at the time. Not really anymore, but they ended up introducing vodka. So clear spirits really started to make a big impact here. Between 1960 and 70, it was the counterculture movement, which is a really complicated way of saying hippies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're in Asheville. I'm pretty sure that's where it's at right now.
That's specifically where it started, I'm pretty sure. Wine, spirits, and cocktails start to come back again. It's kind of a transitional thing. This is the area that, hold on. This is the era where the California wine country started and really became popular because wine started.
60s, 70s?
Yeah, between 60s and 70s, yeah. And then after that is when the 80s kick in, and then we get into like the craft beer movement.
So for the 80s, when I looked at this one, I approached it looking at popular drinks. So popular here, vodka still going strong. Southern Comfort, blended whiskeys, really going strong.
Okay, yeah.
Sweet mixed drinks, novelty shots, wine coolers, and light beers.
Define novelty shots.
So well, actually, I got an example right here. It is the slippery nipple.
Oh, yes. I know exactly what
That
you're
is
talking
equal parts Sambuca and Bailey's.
I actually
which sounds
remember,
awful.
how old am I? When did I turn 18?
The buttery nipples, what I remember being like.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking
I think
of,
there was
yeah.
some kind of schnapps in there or
Right.
something.
I remember going to bars when we were younger and ordering shit like that. Like,
Yeah.
nobody asked for that anymore.
No, I mean, again, if you walked in a bar right now and ordered that, they know you're not 21.
I know.
Right? Like,
Is a fuzzy navel something?
yeah, that's like
something-
orange juice or something in there. I'm not sure.
That's like bringing back like a flood of random shit
Yeah.
where it's just like, it's like schnapps and like fruited
Crazy.
like alcohol, just like random shit. I do remember that.
But Long Island iced tea, that was another one there. Really came apart in the 70s a little bit. 80s made it very popular.
Right.
So that was what was popular there. And then again, using like Southern Comfort blended whiskey in mixed drinks.
Right.
Jump to the 90s. We're going cocktails, malt beverages. So Cosmo, very, very popular then. Do you know what's in a Cosmo? I did not.
I love mixology. I love making cocktails. I don't think I've ever made a Cosmo, but I'm gonna. Is it cranberry, vodka, and not vermouth?
You got two of them right. So
Cranberry,
far.
vodka, and lime.
3 out of 4. The other one's orange liqueur. That's pretty good.
Orange liqueur,
That's
okay.
pretty good, man.
I like them, but I've never made a Cosmo. I probably never will.
I haven't
honestly.
either. No. LITs still popular in the 90s. I remember those on spring break.
Do you remember?
I remember blue drinks as well, like blue motorcycle, blue
Curacao.
whatever. Yeah.
Okay, so I worked. I spent years serving in a restaurant, a local restaurant called.
McDonald's. Oh,
No, not that one. Logan's Roadhouse. You remember Logan's Roadhouse?
rolls and peanuts.
Yeah. Do you remember the Roadhouse tea?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. That mess you up.
Roadhouse tea was the Logan's Roadhouse. I think there's a few of them around.
Yeah, there's a couple.
This
There's one in
region.
Hamburg, I believe.
There's
actually, I
only
think.
one in town, but I think they got a few locations.
Okay.
They kind of went under, but the Roadhouse tea was an LIT, but instead of vodka, they put Everclear.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, it would fuck you up. And then what would happen is like all us people that were working, it's like after we get off work.
Sit there.
No, well, yeah, or like the bartender would pour us like in a big gulp of like Roadhouse tea, and be like, because we go out and party, you know,
Yeah,
and be
yeah,
like, there
yeah,
you go,
yeah.
and we get like 40 ounces of Roadhouse tea, and we'd be like, oh, they're so good though, like you can't taste the alcohol in them at all.
They're very good. But now if you buy the pre-mixed LITs, not good.
No, I agree.
Not good at all.
No, you got to make your own.
So what else was popular in the 90s? Jello shots. That was very popular. Still
popular now.
popular now.
I know, yeah.
Zima.
Oh God, I remember Zima.
Mad Dog 2020.
Mad Dog, I got horrible memories with Mad Dog. Yeah.
That is an awful malt beverage.
I
whatever the
got
hell it
horrible
is.
memories about Mad Dog from like 5 years ago.
I've not had it in probably 15, but it's...
Me and Drew was on our last episode. We went to Richmond, and I went over to Richmond, Virginia. Or we went to Virginia, I went to
Okay,
Richmond.
I was thinking Richmond, Kentucky. Gotcha. The Vale.
The Vale. We went to
Yeah.
the Vale and stopped at a gas station. And just for shits, we got some Mad Dog 2020, the blue one, whatever it is.
Yeah, it's like Gatorade. You don't call it the name. It's
Yeah,
blue, right?
yeah. I hadn't had a hangover that bad since I started drinking. It was fucking horrible, dude. That and was it White Lamborghini?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
IPA from the Vale. That's what we drank. White Lamborghini and
my
Mad Dog
God.
2020. It was a horrible combination.
R.I.P. your stomach. on that one. So 2000s, after the 90s, alcohol consumption kept increasing. The percentage of adults drinking went from 60% to 65%. So probably the peak, I would assume, right there of adults drinking 2000s. White Russians, very popular from the movie, right? What was the movie?
Big Lebowski.
I almost said Kingpin. Yeah, the Big Lebowski.
I'll take a Caucasian, Larry.
Vodka, coffee, vodka, coffee, liqueur, and cream.
Okay.
Vodka cranberry, very popular.
Yeah.
Frozen daiquiris, Jaeger bombs, and then like a penicillin. Have you ever had penicillin? Do you know what
Actually,
that is?
no. I'm familiar with it. I remember people ordering it. I've never
You
had
would
one.
not like this, I don't think. It's smoky scotch, ginger, and honey. That sounds awful.
You know, we need to do an episode on lost cocktails.
I agree.
Like
Yeah,
lost
we did a
recipes,
little bit
'cause-
of that at Amazing Grazing down there. A little
Yeah.
bit of those, but funny ones. From TV.
Yeah, anything
Yeah.
that to make Wes throw up. That's what it was. No, like I remember the penicillin. I've never heard what's in it.
I didn't either. I had no idea.
I would like to recreate that and
then-
then let you try it.
Oh, yeah, no, you're good. We'll let Drew try it. We'll bring him
Drew
on.
try it, yeah.
So then 2010s, this is when craft beer boom. This is when I was getting into craft beer for sure.
Okay.
Lower alcohol drinks, they say also. I don't know what that would be, though. I'm trying to make this light beer, I guess. which is
lower
odd.
alcohol craft beer or just lower
Well, it
alcohol
just said
drinks?
lower alcohol drinks.
I'm thinking
Maybe like a
seltzer. Did seltzer start to kick in?
yeah, maybe 2010s, maybe like mid, somewhere through there.
I agree.
Hard kombucha, hard seltzers. That's part of it.
Yeah.
Artisan liqueur. So we see some of that are artisan liquor, like some of the
Right.
small distilleries going through. Organic drinks, and then the best one, Four Loko. Four Loko.
We talked about
That was
on the
in
last episode.
2014? No, 2010 is when
I
it came out.
never had a Four Loko.
I didn't either. I didn't either. No, I didn't.
It wasn't on my radar, and then finally people were talking about it, and they're like, it's banned. And I'm like, well, what the
banned.
fuck was it?
Yeah.
Like, I want to try it now.
It's pretty much Red Bull with like a I don't
Cocaine?
know, Mad Dog 2020. Yeah.
Red Bull
Or
with cocaine,
Yeah.
I think that's what it was. And then like heroin on the back end.
Another one here, is Fireball. Fireball did not become popular until 2015 is what it's saying.
So interestingly enough, we did an episode on Fireball, remember?
With the special reserve.
Yeah, we did the eggnog, and then we did the special reserve, which was surprisingly pretty decent. But I did remember that fact. That was very interesting that Fireball first came out and nobody wanted it.
No.
And then what did they end up like advertising it in
College,
like a
went to
college?
different college towns.
Yeah,
It
in
has
college
one
towns
sales
just-
guy, one rep went through there.
Yep,
did it
and
up.
then colleges just took it up, and that it became like the party beverage. And I go to my buddy's house at pool parties, and he still does that shit.
The people that loved it in college still love it now. They still bring
I think
it out.
that's pretty much what it comes down to.
The other thing that came out in the 2010s is brunch cocktails, very popular. So like mimosa, endless mimosas,
right.
Stuff like that. Bloody Mary bars.
I don't think
Big
I
time.
feel like Bloody Marys will never go out of fashion now.
No, I think
'Cause it's
mimosas
so
too.
weird.
Both are great. If you're looking for a meal, go Bloody Mary.
I agree,
But mimosa's pretty nice in the morning.
dude. Nothing beats going to a bar when you're hungover in the morning, brunch time, whatever,
Yeah.
and ordering a Bloody Mary, and they bring out a glass that's got like a skewer with like a sausage link,
Slice of pizza.
fucking hamburger, like 6 pickles.
Some hot wings.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And it's like
Oh,
4
yeah.
pounds just like hanging
It's
out
a
top.
meal.
Dude, that is
Yeah.
so, like, there's not a lot of places that do that anymore.
What was the place here in town? Is it Arcadium? Used to have the Bloody Mary bar like
Yeah,
that?
Arcade
Oh,
lets you
man.
build your own skewer,
Yes,
and they
yes.
had they didn't have cheeseburgers, but they had like salami and stuff. And you could do like a
everything.
whole like cold cut
Yeah.
meal. There was a place that actually had a full size fucking like full size, but it was like a mini cheeseburger, and they would grill up a mini cheese like a slider, and they popped the slider
Yeah.
on the skewer. I can't remember where it was.
I don't
think
remember where it
local.
was either. I think it was either like maybe Drake's, Malone's,
Yeah,
like Cheddar's,
it was something
somewhere
like
in
that.
there. Somebody had it for
I
sure.
could actually go for one of those right now.
I agree. So after the 2010s, kind of takes us to where we're at now.
Yeah.
What are you thinking about this beer? You still getting the dark fruits, the chocolate?
This is fucking amazing, dude.
Where would you rate it for a Side Project beer? And I'll tell you what it rates on Untapped.
I would give this. We're still doing out of 5, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
out of
we
5.
always do out of 5.
Yeah.
I mean, this is up there with most of them. I still feel like M.J.K gets the edge.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm going 4.75. Like,
Yeah,
I think
it's
this
a
is
4.75
This
for
is
me.
as close as you can get to perfect without being perfect. But honestly, it probably should be perfect.
It's a 4.75 for me. And what's crazy about it too, you add Längst, which is an atom beer, into this. Why? I don't know why, but it makes it work.
Right.
Like Corey King, I know we've kissed his ass and done whatever. Please God, give us a membership. But I don't know how it's a wizard. Like, how do you think to blend that in there?
It's a
like,
pretty genius move.
like what in the world,
Yeah,
And,
there's something in it, I guess, that complements the whole profile in his
it makes
mind
it
and
makes it
works.
rounded out perfect.
I think it's fantastic.
So looking at ratings online, this is averaging a 4.79 on a 1,700 ratings.
Yeah.
But if you look at our friends on Untappd, which honestly I look at more than just the average, our friends give this a 4.91.
Right. And I trust my
I
friends.
do too. There's 15 of them, so it's had this beer. I'm like, damn, this is the one.
That's a solid offering.
But I agree, M.J.K is better, but this is really good. I think retail on this one was like $50, $60.
Oh, yeah, I do that all day, every day.
100%. I think secondary though is probably hovering around 200. It got a little crazy there.
So is it 200 now?
Yeah, it's probably 150 to 200 even now, and we're down a lot now in secondary.
So I think 200 is probably a little high. I'd definitely throw 100, probably like I'd throw 150 if I had not
I think
had
120 is pretty easy for that.
I'd do
Yeah.
150 if I hadn't had it. Knowing
Correct.
the pedigree,
Correct.
knowing what they do. 200 is probably a little much, but this is fucking fantastic.
One of our friends at the podcast, the show, David, I won't give his last name, but on Facebook, he traded me this one for essentially cost. Like, great dude. Still talk to him today.
I love that.
We're talking bourbon. He's like, he found a bottle I might like, and he's like, hey, I'll send you this bottle and just send me something back at some
Yeah.
point. I'm like, damn, dude.
That's what made the craft beer community so special is that like there was these stages you went through from craft beer nerd introduction to where everything was fantastic, to being cynical and being like, oh, I've had more beers than you, so I'm better than you, to being like, you know what? Everything's fantastic. So whatever you like is good and whatever I like is good. It's like this, like, what is it? It's like a bell-shaped curve.
It's a curve, yeah.
And
they call it a bell curve.
Yeah, and everybody goes through it. And it was amazing time to be in, but unfortunately it has pretty much come to an end. There's still a lot of craft beer people out there, but the whole industry is pretty much in decline. We got a record number of beer breweries closing. People like Side Project are staying open, which is fantastic because we can't let them go. I mean, they're quite literally a treasure.
Yeah, I mean, they've kept it small enough to where they're not distroing stuff. You know what I mean? They closed their brewery there.
It stays special.
Yeah, 100%. That's what it needs to go back to, like the regional breweries. Like when Cigar City got too big and pushed out all this distro and shit, you go to a contract brewer or whatever, it dilutes the quality. Topping Goliath struggled with that. Then they brought it back, maybe too late.
Everything becomes about dollars and cents.
Dollar line, bottom line. Yeah. When you go into venture capitalists, it's like, okay, great, you're making a margin of 6%. We're going to make it 12%.
Right.
And we're going to cut your hop grade. We're going to take your hops down 10%, which will add to the bottom line. Yeah. That's what you're looking at there. So this is the bean counters people talk about. That's what kind of ruins those things, and not ruins them. I mean, they're in the business to make money, but breweries are in the business to make money. But also, it's almost like an artist, right? You think about it, like you're trying to make money, but you want to be true to the craft.
You have to keep it special, and there's only a few brands that have been able to do that successfully and still thrive. Side Project's one of them. Treehouse they got some...
Hill Farmstead.
Yeah, Hill Farmstead. Treehouse has sold their soul to some demon up there
100%.
Because
I think multiple demons.
God, they're making shitloads of beer, and they're not distroing, and they're still selling all of it, which they're great, but like, Jesus Christ, like, what are they doing?
And their cost is low.
Yeah.
They're probably the cheapest 4-pack of a New England hazy IPA you can buy.
Yeah.
They don't distro.
It's amazing. Hill Farmstead, all these New England places. So, but yeah, like the whole beer industry as a whole has really kind of come down.
It has.
We're getting into, I guess, a new phase, and there's always a phase. Whether the phase is nothing, i.e., something low alcohol or non-alcohol, or just like another spirit. I'm curious what you think the future holds.
So I think what I've been reading online and kind of looking at trends. I think the younger generation is not drinking as much. That's what we're seeing clearly.
I agree. Yeah.
And from that, people will say different things. They're smoking weed more because it's becoming more legal.
Sure.
Maybe. Or they're just not doing it because maybe they saw their father or grandfather was an alcoholic or something like that. So they're also more health conscious, right? So I think
that's a big one.
I think with that, more educated, you're seeing, NA drinks more popular, like Athletic. That brand makes a very good NA beer.
Have you had any Athletic beers?
I've had 2, and I mean, they're not my thing.
I didn't really care for them.
I'm not drinking a beer. I drink a beer for flavor, but I also want a little buzz. I ain't gonna lie. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, if we're being honest, But the thing is, it's like, if I'm abstaining, if I want to not drink one night,
drink it.
That's the thing. I'll just fucking not drink it.
I got enough willpower to make it that way.
Yeah, it's like I don't have to have a beer so bad that I'm going to have a shitty beer just to have a beer.
Correct.
The only, and I kind of cut in, but
you're good.
The only non-alcoholic beer I've ever had to where I was like, this tastes like beer, I could drink this, is Guinness. You ever had non-alcoholic Guinness? It's actually really good.
Is it? I like Guinness though, regular. So
the Athletic stuff, it's kind of like, okay.
It's the best hazy IPA I've had that's NA, but
I would agree, but I mean that's a really low bar.
Like even the hop waters are fine, whatever. But even not talking beer too, so looking at bourbon and stuff with, not getting into politics, but looking at the tariffs and things like that we're trying to impose on exports.
Right.
If that does go through, I think that's probably good for the bourbon nerd. You're going to have more availability.
Right.
It's probably bad for a lot of the distilleries because they can't move the volume.
Right.
But so it's hand in hand. But if you look at bourbon secondary, crashed. I mean, we're about as low as it's going to go right now.
Right.
You had people that were actually joining up with venture capitalists, buying Pappy 23 verticals, and trying to say it's going to appreciate X amount. Do you want to join us for $10,000 buy-in?
That boggles my mind.
Oh, and they did it.
Yeah.
But they're done. I mean, Pappy even is essentially recession-proof or whatever you want to call it. But still, at the peak, you're moving at $4,000 or $5,000 a bottle.
Right.
And now it's $3,000. It's not a huge loss. A lot of things were moving for $2,000,
right,
and they're moving for $400 now.
Yeah, in a year it's going to be $2.5.
That's what I'm saying. But even at that, you're still a big loss. So instead of expected, improvements of 10, 15% margin.
Unless you were
you're
able
getting
to
nothing.
square some away for retail, for retail, then like otherwise you're going to be taking a little loss on that.
But I think it changes that too. I mean, I'm in the secondary markets. I understand them. I've sold, I've bought. It's a necessary evil if you want those allocated bottles from beer and bourbon.
Yeah.
But I think it's coming to an end, or at least really slowing down. I'm happy.
Yeah.
But we'll
I
see
am
what it
too,
does
honestly.
to all the other things.
Our journeys kind of like came together at one point. Like I was in beer a little bit before you
were. Yep.
but then you kind of took off in bourbon and I didn't. But there was that point to where we kind of came together, and like the thing that kept me out of bourbon is the secondary.
Oh, yeah.
Like it fucking pissed me off. Like beer secondary, I get it. And at the time, honestly, it was really high. You look at bottles like we
way
have,
high.
they're like this bottle we have right here, the
plus,
Side
easy.
Project. Yeah, $300 for a bottle of beer.
Yeah.
Like you tell that to a layman, they'll be like, "You're an idiot." No, like they were selling some of like the highest priced bottles like that you would compare to like a Pappy in the beer world.
Don Q.
Something like a Don Q would go for like
10K.
$5,000,
Oh, no,
10K.
10K. Yeah.
It was absolutely insane.
Yeah.
I was used to that. I was not ready to get used to that in another industry.
Yeah.
So I started to get into bourbon, and I was like, I enjoy it, but I can't do this to the 10th degree because it got even crazier.
The reason I got into bourbon first, I mean, I like bourbon. I've been drinking it probably before beer, or about the same time, whatever. But I got into it, honestly, getting allocated bottles locally because they were easier to get to trade for beer that I wanted.
Right, yeah.
That's why I got into it.
Yeah, because beer
even-
actually took off, I feel like, a little bit before bourbon did.
100%.
And then bourbon just kind of took over.
it
But
did.
yeah, bourbon's coming down now too.
It is. I mean, so what's next? I don't know. I think alcohol's in trouble overall. I mean, I do. I don't think it's in trouble like people's losing their jobs, even though some have. I think it's just more of the smaller startups. If you're holding on to barrels as an NDP, a non-distillery producer, like you're not making your own, you're buying barrels, you're fucked, in my opinion.
I looked into it, and honestly, a lot of what I saw and the notes that I took on that really fall in line with what you said. It's just like, what's next?
All I heard was I'm right. That's all I heard.
People are not drinking. Like
No.
And it's crazy to me. Well, it's not crazy because like I get it, but it's like we tried some of the non-alcoholic stuff. We've done quick shots. You look at our non-alcoholic quick shots for January.
God.
They were fucking horrible across the board. Every single one of them was bad. Danny Trejo's I love you.
Don't kill us. Don't kill us.
That goddamn tequila substitute. Oh my God, that was the worst thing I've ever drank.
Awful.
Like I've not had like an actual good non-alcoholic alternative. Now,
Same.
I will tell you that on the days that I don't want to drink, I'll kind of create like a tonic. It's not a non-alcoholic substitute necessarily. It's just something that's bitter, sour, slightly sweet, like a cocktail should be, to kind of get that same kind of feeling. So like I'll mix lemon with honey, with ginger, kind of make a tincture, put it together.
Just add alcohol, it'd be good.
That's the thing. It's like if you add alcohol, it'd be fantastic. But like that's the only kind of non-alcoholic substitute that I've ever been able to come up that I enjoy. Like, please, somebody at home, if you have a non-alcoholic beverage that is tasty, I like the Guinness. Yeah, I like the Guinness. But if you have something else like that's actually good, like please let us know.
I think, looking to just one more thing of people, wanting to be more healthy and quitting drinking and stuff like that. I support it. I understand that. But I also, in my real job, I deal with elderly a lot. So the last years of life, and I see that I don't know if me quitting drinking is worth me having 2 more years at the end of my life. Like, I'm just being honest.
Having people like you take care of them?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm going to go ahead and have fun and let's just roll the dice.
You're like, I don't want me to take care of myself.
Yeah, hell no. Let's roll that dice, baby. Let's go.
Well, I'm going to keep drinking. People are going to stop drinking. That's fine. More power to
for
you.
me.
Thanks for tuning in. If you liked it, then please share. If you didn't, then keep drinking until you do. You can follow us at Arsenic Culture on all the socials, and we'll see you on the next one.